Right now, somewhere in America, someone's sitting at a table, crying. Not because anything's wrong, because they just took a bite of something that's basically attacking them. Their mouth's on fire, their eyes are watering, their nose won't stop running. And here's the thing, they're smiling. They're going to take another bite in about 10 seconds. That's insane, right? Every other animal on Earth would call it quits after bite one. Not us. We go back for seconds. We order it again next Friday. Some people actually seek out the world's hottest peppers on purpose just to see what happens. For fun. No other species does this. Not a single one. Scientists have actually tested this over and over. Give a rat food with capsaicin in it, that's the stuff that makes peppers hot, and it'll eat it once, just once. After that, it won't touch it again, ever. Dogs are the same story. Sniff a chili, back away, and that's it. Lesson learned, moving on. Every mammal researchers have ever studied does the exact same thing. Try it once, hate it, avoid it for life. Except us. We heard the warning loud and clear and decided to lean in anyway. So what's actually going on in your mouth when you bite into a jalapeno? Here's the wild part. Nothing's actually burning. There's no real heat, no damage happening at all. It's a total illusion. Capsaicin locks onto a receptor in your nerves called TRPV1, and normally that receptor has one job: detect real physical heat, like your hand on a hot stove. Capsaicin basically breaks in and fools it. It makes that receptor fire off exactly like your tongue's being scorched, even though it isn't. Your brain gets a 5-alarm fire warning from a vegetable. A scientist named David Julius spent years figuring out exactly how this works, and in 2021, he won the Nobel Prize for it. Turns out pain and heat run through the same wiring in your body. Capsaicin doesn't invent a new feeling. It just hijacks a system built for something totally different and pulls the alarm. Which brings up a pretty good question. Why would a plant even bother building a molecule that does this? What's the point of a fake fire alarm? Turns out, the pepper's not trying to stop everyone from eating it, just one group. See, peppers need their seeds spread around to survive, but mammals are actually bad news for that. Our teeth grind food up, flat molars built to crush. Any seeds we eat get destroyed right along with everything else. Birds, though, totally different story. They swallow seeds whole and drop them somewhere else, fully intact, sometimes miles away. That's exactly what the plant wants. So the pepper needed a way to scare off mammals while staying totally invisible to birds. And capsaicin does exactly that. Birds barely register it at all. A bird could eat the spiciest pepper on the planet and just shrug it off. Mammals get the full alarm every single time. Researchers studying wild peppers have actually watched this play out in real life. Birds happily eating peppers that squirrels wouldn't go near twice. The plant basically built a lock, and only one animal happens to have the key. Which means every time you eat a hot wing, you're switching off a defense system millions of years in the making. One built specifically to keep mammals, like you, away. Sit with that for a second. Somewhere out there, a bird lands on a pepper plant, eats without a second thought, flies off. A squirrel takes one bite, makes a face, and never comes back. And then a human walks up, watches this whole thing happen, and goes, "Yeah, I'll take that." So why are we the glitch? Why are we the one species that broke the system? Here's something worth knowing. Nobody's born loving spicy food. Not one baby on Earth. Give a baby their first taste of capsaicin, and they react exactly like every other mammal. They cry, they spit it out, they push it away. If loving spice were built into our biology, every culture on the planet would have landed on it at the same rate. They didn't. Some places barely use spice at all. Others build every single meal around it. A psychologist named Paul Rosen actually studied this up close, watching kids grow up in villages in Mexico where chili's in almost everything. And even there, little kids hated it at first. Same as anywhere. It took years, small amounts mixed into food again and again, slowly ramping up, before their reaction flipped from "no way" to "yes, please." Nobody's handed a taste for chili at birth. It gets built, one exposure at a time. Kind of like how almost nobody loves coffee or beer the first time they try it, either. Part of what makes that flip happen is a trick your own body plays on you. When your brain thinks you're actually hurt, it does what it always does for pain. It floods you with endorphins, and dopamine kicks in too. That's your reward system lighting up. Normally, that combo exists to help you push through something painful. But since some part of you knows a chili pepper isn't really going to hurt you, you get to enjoy the rush, with none of the actual danger. Rosen actually has a name for this: benign masochism. Same reason people love roller coasters, horror movies, skydiving. Your body thinks it's in danger. Your brain knows better. And somewhere in that gap, turns out that feels really, really good to a lot of people. Okay, but that still doesn't explain why some entire countries build their food around spice and others barely touch it. Back in 1998, two researchers, Jennifer Billing and Paul Sherman, went digging for a pattern. And they found one, hiding in plain sight. They looked at traditional recipes from all over the world and lined them up against climate. The pattern was almost too clean. Hot countries use way more spice than cold ones. Not a little more, sometimes dramatically more. And the reason has basically nothing to do with taste. It's bacteria. Meat spoils fast in the heat, and before refrigerators existed, that spoilage could actually kill you. Turns out a lot of spice compounds, capsaicin included, are genuinely antimicrobial. They slow down the exact bacteria that cause food poisoning. So cultures in hot climates that leaned hard into spice weren't just chasing flavor, they were protecting themselves. Over generations, that habit became tradition. Tradition became identity. And eventually, people just loved it. And once that habit caught on, it didn't stay put for long. Chili peppers only existed in the Americas originally, nowhere else on Earth. Grown by indigenous peoples in Mexico and Central America for thousands of years before anyone outside the continent had ever tried one. Then, in 1492, Christopher Columbus showed up in the Caribbean, actually looking for black pepper. Never found it. Found chili instead, and brought it home thinking he'd discovered a new kind of pepper. From there, it spread fast, faster than almost anyone expected. Portuguese traders had it in Africa and India within decades. By the 1500s, dishes across India and Southeast Asia were already built around a plant that, 100 years earlier, didn't exist anywhere outside the Americas. Today, try imagining Indian food, Thai food, or Sichuan food without chili. Good luck. All of it traces back to one plant family from one continent. So this molecule, one a plant literally built to keep us away, turned into comfort food, tradition, even joy. And it did it in just a few hundred years, across the entire planet. Every other mammal on Earth still listens to the warning exactly the way it was designed. We're the only ones who took that warning and turned it into a craving. We didn't just override a defense system millions of years in the making. We fell in love with it, taught our kids to love it too, and carried it with us everywhere we ever went.